Ultima! The state of that thing. And welcome back to another episode of the Northern Rider podcast. Today I have a very, very special guest. I say that every week because everyone's incredibly special. I've got Amanda Dexter on with me today, and you go by the social or the social sort of Instagram name of Wolf Girl MTB.
Yeah,
hello.
Hi. Happy to be here.
Excellent, awesome. So congratulations on being the first female on the podcast as well.
Oh, I didn't know I was the very first.
There's the stress and the pressure being put back onto you there. So welcome onto the podcast. It's so basically I wanted to kind of chat to you because I've been following your Instagram for quite a while now, and you are currently on 21,000 followers, and well deserved. You always post something really cool on Instagram. I really like it. But let's have a little chat about like where you first started your mountain bike and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about your history of bikes and stuff like that.
Okay, well, actually, what a lot of people don't know is it ties into my Instagram name. Everyone just thinks that I've called myself Wolf Girl, and they don't really understand it's because I only started mountain biking at first because of my dog Kai.
The magnificent beast.
But we used to call him, like, obviously, like the Game of Thrones reference, like dire wolf, or people just say he looked like a big wolf.
Yeah.
And when I first started dating Alex, he took Kai out on a bike ride, and I was really jealous because I was like, I want to take Kai on a bike ride. That's way more fun than like running in a field or something. So that's like where my Instagram name came from, because it's the wolf, the girl, and the bike.
That's pretty cool. Like what is Kai? Like, what kind of breed is Kai?
He is German Shepherd. Just a white German Shepherd.
He's a white German Shepherd. I never would have guessed that. Like, just looking at the structure and stuff like that, I was like, that's some kind of like mythical beast.
Yeah, they're not really common in England. You see a lot of them in Switzerland, or America, but very few in England, I think.
Well, I used to live in Switzerland and I had like 4 Saint Bernards under my belt, so that was great. So you basically, like, you've been riding for quite a while now, I'd imagine. Like, how many years have you been riding for now?
Well, it's actually only about 3.
3 years?
I've had to like recalculate because Alex keeps adding random years on. He's like, no, you've been riding about 4 or 5 years. And I'm like, no, Alex, we've not even been together 4 years yet. Like,
that's a bloke thing. All blokes do that. They all add years on. Yeah, we've been together 10 years or whatever. Like, that's it.
It's probably like years, like, to be really exact, but yeah.
All right, cool. So you've got like a variety of different like sort of riding as well, like, which I think is really cool. So you do a little bit like pump track and single track, all sorts of stuff. Like, what's been your favorite so far?
I guess I just like jumps. As my friends say, I'm a little bit sendy.
I like that.
I could go to a jump line and just stay on that all day. Obviously, I love like this type of stuff you ride at in Alethan and like the golfy trails and adrenaline uplift side. But my favorite is just jumps.
Yeah.
Even if it's just one jump, I could do the same jump all day. So.
I used to like jumps when I was like younger. Like, well, as I got older, I was like, do you know what? Like, I don't know anymore. It just, and then I rediscovered like the whole reason why this channel started was because of like just wanting to get back into mountain biking. And now I'm just like, I love it. Like, it's so fun. But like, because you're older as well, or you get a bit wiser with these things as well. It's like, as opposed to when you're a kid, you've got more kind of skill, I think, in your head. Maybe necessarily, I don't know. But like, it just seems a lot of fun when you're an adult, I think, as opposed to being a kid. Did you ever ride like BMX or anything like that as a kid, or anything like that, or was it?
No, I had up until because I moved around a lot. So up until I was 9, when we lived in sort of deepest, darkest Cumbria, literally in the middle of nowhere, we just took the bikes out all the time. But not really mountain biking, just as you do around your friends to the
Yeah.
forest and stuff. But then we started moving all different countries, so I couldn't really take a bike with me. So I had rollerblades and stuff, and then I always rode horses.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why it was so hard for me, I think, to get into mountain biking. Like, I hadn't ever had the opportunity. None of my parents did it. My granddad was like a climber. He did like rock climbing and
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
As most people from Cumbria, that's all there is to do there, really.
And then I did a bit of fell running, because I've always been a runner as well.
Yeah.
But never bikes. But funnily enough, the one thing that made me a good fit for it, that made me progress really fast, is my main sport after uni was pole dancing.
Yeah.
So I have, like, insane core strength, and amazingly, that's really helpful in mountain bike.
How many dudes get involved with this? Because I'm like, I need some core strength. I just see some of the pictures and some of the poses. I mean, like, you posted one like the other day as well. I was like, there's no way in hell I could be able to do that. I'm far too fat for that. But that just looks insane. Like, you must have some really strong muscles going on. How long have you been doing that for?
I started that when I was 22, so a long time. I won't say how old I am.
Keep things secret, eh? Oh, that's cool though. So you say like you've moved around and stuff like that. Was that like through like your family's kind of jobs and things, or is it kind of they want to move around?
Just like to move. She was an international school teacher, so I grew up in Turkey, Kenya, South Korea, California. I think I hit all of them.
That's insane. Do you ever look back now and you think, God, there's so many good trails there now. I could have went there when I was a kid.
There isn't where I went to high school for the last 2 years was in California, and that's actually I think it's where Aaron Gwynn is sort of living right now. So it's quite good, like, stuff around there where I went to.
That'd be pretty cool. Like, the just kind of. I mean, I was born and grew up in Germany for a few years and stuff, and like looking at like near where my local town was, there was like quite a few trails, and I look back at it now and thinking, if only I was into like, you know, like single track or trails and things like that when I was like a kid, it would have been so different now. But it's nice to kind of to get out and about and kind of see all these different sort of places, like, but like no matter if you ride your bike somewhere, if you ride it in UK or Europe or America or anywhere like that, like it's always gonna be like pretty much the same. Like the cultures are going to be very much the same and stuff like that. Especially like when you get to ride something completely different to the UK, because like, I mean, you've rode in Canada, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's completely different altogether. I mean, like, for when I go skiing over there, like it's different snow to like over here. But imagine like the dirt is even slightly different as well. Like there's a different sort of feel, and I think because you're abroad, you're like all excited and stuff like that.
Yeah, my boyfriend was making a joke when we got there. He's like, it's like people like sniff the air in Whistler and they start like just doing all this crazy stuff that they can do all of a sudden.
There's definitely something in the air over there, or in the water even, to be honest with you. I've seriously, I need to get over to Whistler though. Did you enjoy it? Is that where you went?
That's like, it's just like Disneyland for bikes. It's amazing. Everything's just so much bigger and harder, and because that's just like normal there, you just start just doing bigger jumps, bigger drops, bigger like technical sections, I guess. Like just everything's just scarier, but because it becomes normal, and it is normal, like the easy is like our hard. You just you just progress because everything's so well built. You just start hitting stuff and you're not thinking of it. If it was like that feature in an English trail, you'd be like, what is this? Why is this here? But then it's Whistler, because you expect it, you just start doing it. It's crazy.
How did you find the transition, like from like UK sort of stuff to like Canada? Like, was it like really big learning curve, or?
Well, no, because Morzine and the Alps and stuff is sort of like a middle ground between the UK and Whistler. Like, I think from UK to Whistler, it is like just the size of everything is massive. But because like I've ridden quite a lot over in Europe, it was just the next step up, really.
Did you ride Zermatt? Am I dreaming that?
No, Alex went over, but I didn't go.
That's it. That's who I saw there. Because I used to live there, and I was taught. I sent my comments like, "It's the best place ever." If you get to go to like G's bar, which is like on the Bahnhofstrasse, there's this cool little bar there, which I think you'd quite appreciate as well. Because there's a guy there called G, and he just no, actually no, it wasn't G. It was another guy. There's a guy who just rocks up there, and he's got his acoustic guitar. And he's got like this beautiful voice, and he also has like this huge dog as well, which he brings with him as well. And the dog just sits there and just like goes to sleep while he's playing his guitar in the bar. And it's really cool. But are you gonna go out to Zermatt at all, or are you gonna?
I'm sure it's one of the last races next year as well in the series. It's a possibility. I'm not traveling as much next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I can. It's a lot for me to just follow Alex around the EWS circuit.
Yeah.
Whereas next year I've decided I want to pick and choose what I go to and just maybe fly out and meet him or go for little bits because, as you can probably guess from Instagram, I'm not really the type of person that can just follow. Like my life isn't. I've got to do my own thing. I'm very.
Yeah.
Big personality, and just following Alex around doing what he's doing was quite hard for me. Like I was very supportive of him and stuff, but this year I need to focus more on myself and do a lot more in my own. I want to do some more races, maybe try some downhill racing. Nothing like super, not properly competing. I just want to get involved more and do my own thing.
There's a few races coming up in the northeast. There's one over Kielder, the Northern Downhill.
Oh yeah.
That I went to my first race. When was it? It was last month, I think it was, and it was the it was a TT, a time trial race. What a laugh! Like I wasn't bothered about the time or anything like that, and it was
Eastgate.
Eastgate, yeah, that's the one. Were you there? Were you?
No, but I guess the first people I got to know when I was literally just getting into mountain biking was Carl from Northern Downhill.
Yeah.
My first women's ride I went on, his wife organised it, Amelia.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
So I know quite a lot of their races just because obviously like that was the first races I did. So.
They seriously though, like the amount of like love and care that they put and towards the actual races as well. Like it's just like the organisation was just spot on. I was well impressed. Like I turned up there and I literally like I spoke to a few people. I noticed a few people who I knew from like other things and stuff, and then I was like just slotted straight into place. Didn't feel out of place or anything like that. It was really, really like it was just such an awesome community. But I really want to do a one up in there in winter. I hope it's like going to be like bitterly cold.
Is that the one at Hamsterley in winter?
Yeah, that's the one.
Euro.
There's one in Kielder as well.
I probably wouldn't go to, like, personally, I'm not a fan of Kielder, but that's because like I'm just in a race this weekend and me and flat tracks where you've got a pedal and you've got to pump and carry speed.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at it. I'm literally like, I just can't carry speed. That's why I go to pump tracks. That's what I'm trying to learn is to carry my speed and get better at that.
That sounds like a good tactic, actually. I actually noticed there was on one of my like normal little kind of rides around my local area, I saw like a miniature pump track, and I was like, quite tempted by that actually. I might get involved in it.
Yeah, I have to say they are good for learning because on a bigger scale. So this summer, I spent all summer doing flow tracks to work on my jumping, and I was really scared of going back to Scotland because I was like, oh my God, I can't ride techie trails anymore. I've literally just done jumps all summer. And then my friend, have you heard of Jess Stone? She does.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, she coaches me every now and then.
Okay.
Anyway, she said to me, you might find that you're riding other stuff a lot better because you're used to like pumping through stuff and like, having to ride your bike properly.
What's
She was
that?
I set off probably the same pace as I would down like a jump track on techie stuff without even thinking. I just set off. And she was right. I just was riding my bike a lot better because I've been used to like riding and pumping through stuff and like, yeah.
Yeah. Did you feel more confident?
Um,
Or were you
no,
just kind of
actually,
blasé about it? Just like straight in?
I was scared because I was coming back in wet routes after summer, like 3 months of dry riding. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But my brain just made me set off faster anyway.
Yeah.
It was used to setting off faster, and I didn't think, oh, I'll need to dial it back to get used to stuff again. So but it's the first time I probably agreed with people that speed is your friend, because I probably rode some of those golfy tracks way better than I've ever rode them in the past, just because I went down faster than I expected to.
I never used to believe that. I always used to think that was like an old wives' tale, like speed's your friend. I'm like, no, I want to go slow because like the faster I go, the harder it's gonna hurt. But it's a thing because like we had some like there was on the Eastgate TT there was like a bit of like off camber. I didn't really do that, and it was all grass. Never rode that before. Like the whole thing was completely new to me, and I was like, and then did you see the pictures that the roll-ins and stuff like that? Those big wooden ones that they had.
Yeah.
They were steep. I was like, what? And there was people like clearing them as well, and I was like, wow, this is insane. Like, I had no grandeurs of winning that whatsoever, but I was like, I'm damned if I'm gonna get something. I'm gonna enjoy myself, and like just riding all that stuff. I was just like, this is weird, like, but I loved it, and I thought, you know what, I'm going for it. I'm in a competition now, and I had that kind of like mindset, and I thought, just go as fast as you can, pedal a lot, everything like that, and I absolutely loved it, and I felt like I rode better. I had a flat tire halfway through it, but it was good nonetheless. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, would you like? How many races have you done now? Give or take.
Maybe like 10, 11.
What would you say to people, like, if someone was kind of like, oh, I don't know, it's not really for me, like, I'm not really interested in that sort of thing, what would you say to someone?
Personally, well, I'd just say that personally, I go to races for the feed stations, the route that's mapped out for me, so I don't have to actually think about where I'm going, because someone's already told me where I'm going.
Yeah.
If you've never raced before, chances are the race that you enter is going to be fun rather than serious anyway. I think the best thing Alex ever told me when I was scared of a race is that the type of races I was entering in, that they were fun, not a big deal. So if someone was to come up behind me, like regardless of whether it was safe for me to get out of the way or not, I shouldn't worry about it, because it's not a World Cup, so regardless of whether that person was to get mad at me or not for not getting out of the way on time, at the end of the day, if they're getting mad,
that's their issue.
At a small local race, like,
yeah.
what are they going to do for them? Are they going to get into a World Cup or the World Enduro? Probably not. So you've got to chill out, and you shouldn't worry, because I don't know. I think it's a very British thing to be like, oh, sorry, I've got in your way, and like fall over and hurt yourself because you're desperately trying not to piss somebody else off.
Throwing yourself onto a knife for them. It's like, I'm sorry, get your World Cup Enduro stage done.
like what Alex always said, like, because obviously he races at a high level, so he's like, your safety comes first. If you can't get out of the way because it's a dangerous section, get out of the way when you can. Because this is the thing people worry about most, is people catching them up.
Yeah. I actually thought it was going to be like just singular, so like it was just like yourself on the track at one point, but it was just like the time it. But what I got told was like if they were like kind of on top of things and stuff and they could manage it, they would take your times for like your practice, and they would match you up with someone who was like quicker than you, so that you wouldn't kind of bump into each other. Because I was like, if anything's gonna go wrong, like I don't want anyone to hit me or me to go like and hit somebody else or something like that because of like a blind corner or something like this. Like, that's the last thing I wanted, to ruin somebody else's day because of it. But like, I never felt at all like I was gonna interfere with anyone's race at all. It was solid. It was really well organized. I was like, wow, this is awesome. But like, I come from a background of ski racing.
Yeah.
And that's totally different. because it's just like single racer on the track, etc. Then you have like your beeps and things like this, and then you get set off, and then that's it. Then you get that time. Or if you slalom, if you're dueling with someone else, then you've got like this timer for the two separate bits. But it was just so cool. It was just so casual as well. Actually, I liked the fact that it could have been like a competitive if you were like if you're mates or something like that. But it's still fun.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved that. It was just so good. It was just brilliant. So so you talked about like having to like want to do like your own sort of things and stuff like this. Like what's your next big sort of like plan or your big adventure that you got kind of brewing in your head or
Um, so actually, it's a bit boring right now. I don't know if you know, I'm a veterinary nurse.
oh excellent.
All our traveling in the past 2 years, I've still worked on occasion, like as a what we call a locum, dipping in and out. But I decided after the summer, I was like, I really want to just be in a practice for a good chunk of time and sort of work on like my skills and knowledge as a veterinary nurse for a bit. Just get a bit more solid with that again. So winter, my goals are just to get fit and work on my veterinary nursing things. And then come January, I fingers crossed will be going part-time.
Yeah. It's the dream.
So, I mean, part-time with one place, I'll still have flexibility. I could still freelance sort of around type thing. But then my goal is to do as more eventy type races, so fun ones. So, maybe some Northern Downhill ones, some PMBAs, and then I want to do some downhill races. I just want to do fun events. Just to like prove, I feel like I've got something to prove to myself this year. Like I didn't race pretty much at all this year because I went right off it. I was like, I don't like competition.
Yeah.
I don't like the way people act, like when they get too competitive. I was like, I just took a break completely from it all and just sort of made videos, had adventures, session stuff. So next year I want to do races and
Any countries you want to travel to?
Whistler again, definitely.
Whistler. Yeah. That's somewhere. Well, I want to emigrate there. It's either there or Switzerland. It's a difficult one really, because it's like they're both like insanely beautiful. I lived in Sun Peaks in Canada for like 6 months. And that's the mountain bike scene there. It's like it's really small. They call it there's an area they call Little Rev, like that's like another ski area, and it's like not too far away from like Whistler and stuff, and it's like a huge big sort of area where there's like loads of like off-piste sort of stuff, and there's loads of tracks and jumps, and it's like a mini Whistler. And I was like, this is like insane. Like this is so cool to have a little town as well, not like Whistler where it's like manic all the time. It's super busy. It's just like the smaller version of it. It's one of the largest ski areas in Canada. In fact, I think it's the largest now. I skied there like over the season, and it was a Tuesday. There was 3 people on the hill. I mean, yeah, you lose a little bit of the atmosphere of Whistler and stuff like that, but like you've got the whole place to yourself. You can just do whatever you want, where you want, and stuff like this. It's like wow. But yeah, I really want to go to Whistler. That's the main thing. Which is your favorite run in Whistler?
A-line.
A-line. I really want to do A-line because I'm shit scared of it. I'm looking at it. I watch like Seth Bikes hacks and stuff, and I'm watching him doing it, and everyone else like hitting them, and I'm like, and like the Mahalo My Dudes guys, and they're like hitting them like, shit, that's big. But like,
you know what though, A-line isn't scary, because if you think about it, each jump is built. You can just land on top of all of them. The biggest issue is the people that do know what they're doing and maybe go too sendy on them.
There's no such thing as too sendy. Unless you crash and go OTV, and it's like, that appears to be too sendy.
And then, as for other places, it's probably how I've got into this lifestyle in the beginning, is that I am a bit spontaneous. I don't really make big plans. We just myself and Alex just sort of wing it.
Yeah.
He's obviously stuck by the EWS schedule next year, but I'm not. So I might just see where he's going to be, see what our other friends are doing, and then just wing it.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, there's nothing better than getting on the road with your friends and stuff, and going off to see these amazing places. Which, like, when you were younger, you wouldn't have even had a dream about that. You would even been like, yeah, I want to go to Disneyland. That's it. I mean, that's still a goal for some people. But like,
what, half the time I end up doing stuff is because I'm doing it. I've signed up for it before I've even thought about it. So when you were saying people humming and hawing about like doing a race or I don't know, giving up their job and going off in a van or like, and people is like, oh, how did you do it? I was like, most of the time I've just decided and done it, and then I don't really think about it. So it's just the best way I can explain it is that's how I used to go running out when it was snowing and it was winter and icy, and I'd still go out running back when I used to run. It's because I'd be in my running clothes and I'd just sort of throw myself out the door before I could go, maybe not.
I've found my most successful runs or bike rides or anything like that is just like I've got my running kit or I've got my bike kit. It's like there right in front of me when I wake up and I see it, and I just literally just get out and go. Like, don't think, like, just do it. There's a great quote. I think it's from that's off to a good start. I think it's from Three Kings. It was the war film with George Clooney in Iraq, and he's like he says in a bit, he says like do the things that you're most shit scared of, and then get the courage later. And I was like, that's brilliant. So I think if I ever end up getting over to Canada to Whistler, I'm gonna apply that logic and just go for it and just have an absolute blast. What's the one place you've always wanted to ride then? Like your big sort of like that's it.
Well, up until summer, of course, that's why I keep going on about Whistler. That was my sort of like need to ride there.
Yeah.
So now that I've been there, done that, I'd obviously keep going back. I literally haven't even touched. I probably did about 10% of the trails there. There's so many.
Oh god, yeah.
And it didn't help that I spent most of my time on A-Line. So,
there's a surprise.
But I suppose if I started small and said for the UK, I really love the riding at Inverness. I need to go back there because when I did ride there, I wasn't having those days where you just can't ride your bike.
Oh yes.
So I managed to like see the trails and get down there, but I wasn't particularly able to ride them. They just looked so good, and obviously we were there with Ella Connolly, and she just was rad, and Alex was being all rad, and I was just like, yeah. Where else? I want to go to. No, I can't pronounce it though. The bike park in Norway.
I was going to say, is it Welsh by any chance? But Norway. Whereabouts in Norway? Is it like northern or?
I don't want to embarrass myself trying to pronounce it. There's Hafel or
Oh, Hjarvel.
Is that how you say it?
I think it might be Hjarvel. If it's got a H and a J, it's a Hjar. I think it is in Norwegian. Like, with my limited Norwegian. Yeah, there's some insane places up in Norway. There's a lot of climbing. Well, there's a lot of excellent climbing up in Norway as well. Like, that's one of the one things I wanted to do with the bike as well, is combine like climbing, mountain biking, and doing some kind of like stupid kind of like Hans race sort of stuff. Like just climbing somewhere and doing some crazy sort of like challenges or something. I think that would be quite interesting to do.
You should definitely check out my friends that have created some stuff in Norway. They run an Airbnb for mountain bikers.
Oh, brilliant! Right, let's plug them.
I'll just find them on Instagram for you because it's worth.
Well, while you're doing that, let's. I'll have a chat. I'll talk about if people are like interested in like traveling around the world. What I think would be a really cool idea is that if we had like almost like Pink Bike or whatever like this, like some kind of community board where you can be like, yeah, look, I've got this place. If people want to come ride, they can pay for this much, whatever, and then we ride here on local guides and stuff, and really help everyone out. Like, I think that would be really, really cool because, like, I know so many people who would be up for that. Like, it's with like being a ski instructor, like like everyone everywhere. Like, it's so like I went to Japan and like I bumped into somebody who knew me in the airport. And I was like, what? It's ski instructing. Small world, and I'd imagine it's probably the same for like the mountain bike community, like with the instructors and that, or people who hit a certain circuit all the time and stuff. Um, but yeah, it'd be really cool to get people involved in something like that, like I don't know, like some kind of a community board or something like that. Would be pretty cool, and then you could just get everywhere for a little bit cheaper because it is so expensive these days. It's like £90 for a return fare for your bike and a bike bag on EasyJet. £90. Like,
That's pretty good though, isn't it?
well, yeah, no, in this climate, yeah, I guess it is, but like at the same time, like my ticket cost like £20, so it's like bike's getting a better seat than me.
Fair enough. That the name of that place, it's Any Excuse to Ride.
Any Excuse to Ride.
And Alex actually on our YouTube channel, he made a video of it. It's one of the first videos that's actually on the YouTube channel.
And that's the Wolfpack Adventures YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is that both of you guys? Is it, or is it just Alex, or what's that?
It's both of us. Alex likes to make videos though, so obviously because I'm doing other things a lot of the time, more of the blogging. But so he's more the, I guess, the talking face of it. But we both enjoy going out and just taking videos. So we probably both equally film stuff.
Mm-hmm. I take it he's like your main photographer, is he?
Yeah, he likes all his media stuff. He sets the camera up for me when I'm taking shots of him, and I just have to press a button.
It's so difficult. Like if you've got like a DSLR or something like that, and you go like, "Oh, can you take a picture?" And you're like, "Yeah, no worries." Do you just press this button? Hang on a minute, and then you get like a long list of instructions on how to actually use it. Get the correct light and the right white balance, and then I looking at you going, "No, it's all right. I'll just put it on auto." I'm like, "That'll do."
I just get Alex to set it up, and then I think I've got an eye for like the finding the shot. It's just the actual techie bit. I'm a bit like,
Yeah, it's definitely like, I mean, looking through like your Instagram feed, it's like there's definitely like a certain sort of aesthetic with your photos. There's like that kind of browny greeny kind of look, like which works beautiful in the woods and the forest and stuff like that.
Well, I change it up quite a bit because it's like my artistic outlet. So you can see it changing colours as it goes. I do like the artistic element of Instagram.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, no matter which colour scheme you go for, like Kai just looks amazing. Like I'm so jealous of Kai, man. He's such a beautiful dog. Yeah, if people haven't seen your Instagram, it's wolf.girl.mtb. Is that the actual how you find it, or can you just put wolf girl in?
Oh, I think you can type Amanda Dexter in as well. It'll come up.
Yeah, go over, give Amanda a follow, and check out Kai as well. Like, I'm looking at it now, I'm like, really? Is that German Shepherd? Did you say it was?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's so strange because like you're normally used to the same sort of like dark features on it as well. It's like, oh, this is brilliant. I'm a massive lover of dogs, and like one day I do hope to get a lovely trail dog. But you need to get that sort of like trade off between a lazy dog and a hyperactive dog, right?
Yeah. Well, we've also got a video that I did on how to train your trail dog when you get one.
Oh, excellent. I'm gonna watch that. Like, I don't even own a dog, and I'm gonna be like, right, I'm gonna learn about this, see what happens. Oh, it's awesome. Like, it's been like one of those things where like having a trail dog, I think, makes like you want to go out more. I would think because like if you have a dog anyway, like when I had the four dogs in Switzerland, like I wanted to go out all the time and walk them and stuff like this. Do you find that like having Kai like motivates you to ride necessarily, or just be outdoors in general?
It used to, yes. Nowadays, not so much because I have to. Kai's coming on to 7 years old, which is maybe the equivalent of maybe a 56-year-old man, 60-year-old man right now. So he is getting a tight hip. He doesn't have it constantly, but we have to be real careful with him now.
But they get hip dysplasia, is that right?
They can.
Yeah.
Kai's not getting signs of getting hip dysplasia. He's pretty well. His genetics are pretty good. Got pretty straight back, but he still will get maybe a little bit of arthritis, or he'll get some problems, but only because his breed's sort of predisposed to it. But I don't think he doesn't look like he's on his way to hip dysplasia or elbow dysplasia. He's just going to get those problems as sort of like with age as it starts. It's just a big breed thing as well. But luckily his mum's a veterinary nurse, so we're already on top of it.
I was going to say, like, you're in the right place to look after him, like. That's good.
Yeah, so nowadays he comes when we session stuff. Because obviously then we're just in one little spot doing one jump or some corners. So he tends to just sit and play with his balls or his toys, or that sounds really bad. But
you know. Yeah, that's cool. So I've got like a quick fire sort of round on here, which I was meaning to do this a few podcasts ago, but I completely forgot about it. So I'm gonna give it a go. We'll see how this goes. There is I think there might be a slight delay on here as well. So like, we'll see how it goes on here. Right. So I'm just gonna do like a quick fire, like one or the other, and you gotta pick one or the other. If you're like dead set like both, you can say both. I'll let you off for that. Okay. Right. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Hardtail or full sponge?
Full sponge. I've never heard that before.
You've not heard that one? You can start using it now, aren't you? Full suspension, I call it full sponge.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, full sponge.
It's even made me laugh again. I don't get to use it that often. Rich tea or digestive?
Digestive.
Ooh. Single track or bike park?
Bike park.
SRAM or Shimano?
Shimano.
Wide bars or narrow?
I don't know.
Oh dear.
Wide.
Wide, fair enough. Mountains or beach?
Mountains.
Loam or hard packed?
Both.
Video or audio?
Video.
UK or Europe?
Europe.
Good choice. I like that. Yeah. So, what's your next when you're next out on your bike? Then are you going to be out soon tomorrow or?
Oh yes, I've got some exciting stuff coming up. Actually, I don't know how much I'm allowed to tell you.
Exciting stuff.
I've got a few things coming up actually. So I don't know if you've been on Instagram lately. I had a special invite from Red Bull for this thing on Wednesday.
Ooh, that's exciting. Red Bull's massive. That's cool. Are you excited?
They did some pretty cool events with like the mountain bike industry right now. So I think me and a handful of girls have some invites for something cool on Wednesday, which I guess looking at our Instagrams to figure out what's going on there.
I'm going to be following with held breath. That's what I'm going to be doing. That's awesome. So is it all girls, is it? Or is there kind of like a guy section as well? Or
no, it's all girls. It's not necessarily... I guess it is like a woman's specific thing, but I think it's mainly because the VIP person is a female. So
cool.
it might be, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know what to expect either, really. So
I'm
I can't.
excited for you. That sounds awesome. That's really cool. Like, so like, just like going on about like women in sports and stuff like that. Like, a while ago, like I got involved with like my local community doing like the This Girl Can campaign. Um, I got involved with photographing my local roller derby team.
That's cool.
Fuck me, that's violent.
Yeah, I've heard.
Wow, like when I see like some of the like the downhill girls like taking big hits, and I'm like, that's impressive. Roller derby, that's impressive. I'm like, wow, like these dealers definitely smash it out the park. Is there anything that you would like to try, like that's brand new for you? Like what's
Um, I'm trying to think because there's not much that I haven't really given a try in my life. Oh, you've absolutely stumped me. Like, 'cause,
We've had the roller skates when you used to live abroad and stuff. So would you give roller derby a go?
well, I was quite good at rollerblading. I
Mm.
did not skating. I probably fall over, but anything that because like roller derby involves like cool outfits and glitter and shit, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Like the hotter the pants, the tighter the pants, like and like the sparkly helmets, everything. Like it's all a fashion parade, and then you just get to beat the shit out of each other. It's just so cool.
So that actually, basically, for me, and I try and this is actually one of the messages I always try and get across to on my Instagram or well, I probably don't do a very good job, but so I love anything sparkly, pink, sexy. I find it really unfair that it's like when you're a female getting into mountain biking, all of a sudden you have to like give up your girly feminine traits. Like it's almost like not as much liked. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's really unfair because I'm actually a really sparkly individual. So, so yeah, I've actually got a dream bike build coming up as well.
Oh, seriously? Oh, that's really cool. That,
I'm kind of it's still in the works. We're still getting the last few bits and bobs for it.
yeah.
Um, yeah, Alex wants to do a mountain bike mental health video.
Brilliant. Oh, that's
And so
cool.
basically for it, I thought I'm going to make a bike that is like me in bike form.
That's really cool. I really like that. I mean, like the outdoor world has, as far as I remember, like I've been in like doing outdoorsy stuff and buying outdoorsy clothes like pretty much most of my life, and it's always been. I don't know if this is a bit like too harsh, but like it's always been a bit cruel towards women, like sizes, colors. You see a lot of it in the snowboard world as well. Like some girls I know are dark individuals, and they're like black, and they don't like sparkles and pink and stuff like this, and they're like, I don't want to be a girly girl. I want to be like this kind of like dark sort of tomboy kind of guy, and it's so funny to kind of like to see like obviously with you you're kind of like really embracing when you got on your Instagram thing. It's like the mountain biking unicorn, which I think is quite cool. It's you know what it is, like as long as you fit your personality and your personality comes through, like it shouldn't really matter. But like do you feel like there is like issues with like mountain biking clothing or mountain biking equipment or anything like that sort of stuff, like for females in general?
Yes, there definitely is. But I also feel for brands that can't win because you have a lot of girls that are like they don't want anything pink, they don't want any purple or turquoise, but they want it to fit females. But then you have your females like me who I actually quite like pink and I quite like purple and like the one thing I do get is the sizing is a bit crazy. I don't know if it's because females have so many different sizes,
Yeah.
but I tend to buy guys. Well, I used to buy guys' clothes simply because it fit me better than the actual female specific stuff, obviously these days I wear Sweet Protection, and I find their sizing is pretty decent, and like the female stuff isn't too different from the guys stuff.
Yeah.
Like the sizing and the colors are pretty. They're not too female, but at the same time they are. I don't know how to
They're kind
explain
of
it.
almost like neutral sort of thing.
Yeah, actually,
I like neutral because then it's like it's not going one way or the other really. It's like, especially in this day and age when like people get upset over so many different things now, it's nice to just kind of just have a blank slate and just go like, here you are, this is what we've got, you know. But I've seen like a lot of people like, especially outdoors clothing, like jackets and things like this. Like a friend of mine, she had to buy like the next 2 sizes up or something like that because the women's stuff was just like so badly fit. I guess it's like trying to find a brand that fits you almost.
yeah, and I think a lot of women forget that you find the same thing in normal clothing. You just have to find the brand that fits you. I mean, if I go to River Island, I'm like, have I gained like weight? Am I like 2 sizes bigger now?
Yeah,
Because River Island sizes are like tiny. Whereas, so I know my size in each shop, and I think women maybe forget that there's just so many different shapes and sizes out there that I think it's hard for brands, especially in mountain biking, because mountain biking's still tiny, like in comparison to everything else. Like, so in a lot of different shops, they have the different styles. You can either wear all black, you can be quite gothy, or you can be quite sexy, or you can be feminine.
yeah,
Because they have the ability to do that, because obviously the general women's clothing industry is so much bigger than the mountain bike women's clothing industry. They can potentially make all these different styles and have people choose one that they like, whereas mountain bike is just simply not that big for us to have a brand create a few different styles. But realistically, that's probably the answer to the women's sportswear problem, is to have a brand that creates more than just one style. Like,
yeah, and something that you're not going to pay out of the nose for as well, because mountain biking stuff is expensive.
oh gosh. Like literally, I love like Tane, for example, all her cool outfits, and then the outfits that Fox have come out with this year on the back of like what her and Chaos have been wearing.
Yeah,
They're just so sick, but I can't afford it.
yeah, it's so expensive. I'm like, oh, I really want to get to that point where I can get some sponsorships or something. Send us a free T-shirt or something, somebody. But yeah, I mean, it would be really cool to see like something happen. I know it sounds really stupid because like I'm a guy and like people are like, well, you're a guy, you don't have any issues. Yeah, I do. Like I am like the shortest dude ever. I'm 5'4.5", like, and I've got like 28-inch legs or something like that. I'm like quite a small dude. So like me, when I go like buy jeans or something like that, like it's always like I've got to take them to the tailor now because I've got to get them turned up because I'm such a midget. And like I always like I've always wore like when I went running, I always had short shorts. But I've always had like I've had like really strong legs. I've played rugby, skiing and all this, so I've always had really like strong muscly legs. So I always liked wearing short shorts because like it allowed me to move and stuff like this. So when I got like back into mountain biking, like my shorts were a little bit longer, and I was like, but now if I'm really petrified about wearing 3/4 because they're gonna look like trousers on me. I just don't want to look like I'm wearing like slightly cropped trousers. But there's something needs to be done. Somebody needs to create something out there for everybody, so it's cheaper. So the more and more people can get into this and look cool at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is definite.
Well, yeah, for me, definitely mountain biking's hot. Like, maybe quarter about looking cool, because you know, like, you want to look cool on your bike.
You want to look steezy, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Not all of us can look like, I don't know, Veronique Sandler on a trail. Some of us just need to dress like it and maybe just imagine in our own heads we have those skills.
I do that every time. I have I have this ride to work, and I go there like every day, and it's like literally like a turn. So it's like a right turn to a left turn, and in my mind, it's like Whistler. It's like big tall berms, and I'm like swooping through it, and I'm like just pushing the bike down low, and I'm like mud everywhere, and I'm just like, yeah, that was so sick. And if I look back at it, it's probably just me sat there going tilting sideways or something like this, just like look like I'm panicking on a bike, which is like too small for us anyway, or too big or whatever. I'm like, oh, imagination's a great thing.
You know, sometimes when Alex shows me the pictures he's took of me, I'm like, I felt way cooler than I looked there.
Yeah.
Like, how have you done that on the camera? How have you got it so wrong?
I got my pictures back from the Eastgate TT, and I was like, wow, I was really impressed. I was like, there's a really good picture of me like hitting like the down the wooden bit, and I was like, I actually look really cool. I was like, I'm quite well impressed for that one. Well done, me. That's gonna be the only photograph of me looking really cool on the bike, though. Like the rest of the time, I'm like, nah, sorry.
Was that send it for Jerry photo or?
Yeah. I do look like a complete Jerry half the time. Like you'll know it's me because like I'm always wearing like a Hawaiian shirt. And like that's I can't remember who it was. I think it was there's a girl called Georgia Leslie, I think her name is.
I know. Well, I've never met her, but got her on social media.
She had a Hawaiian shirt on a while back. I'm fairly sure, and I commented on it and I was like, I've got a Hawaiian shirt. Like I will definitely wear like for you next time I get out on the mountains. I'll wear it and I'll tag you in it. And sure enough, I went up to Fort William. Oh no, it was in Lagan, and I went to Lagan and I just like, if you watch like the intros to my videos and stuff, you hear like a bit of my friend Cameron going, "Look at the state of that." And it's just like I just like it was like beautiful scenery, not a soul in sight. I just whipped this like bright neon Hawaiian shirt on, just whipped it on. I was like, right, I'm ready to go now. But I did that, and I was like, do you know what? I think it's a symbol that you don't have to have all the best kit. I guess really, in a way, I don't take it seriously because there's a few people I ride with, and they're like, you've got to have like the best kit. You've got to have like this, that, the other. I'm like, yeah, but you can get really cool looking kit that isn't necessarily like, you know, Enduro World Series sort of standard or like downhill sort of World Cup standard. You know.
You know what? The best tips for looking cool is all I did was I saved up and I bought myself one pair of black Fox downhill pants.
There you go.
Right, because then all you have to do is wear like whatever color t-shirt you fancy, and then you look cool.
That's a top tip. See, people were coming here just to listen to us ramble on, but now they went away with a fashion tip as well. What's going on? Like, people are learning things on my channel now. Not just me. Yeah, black. I stupidly went and bought some red ones.
Oh, but red pants.
Yeah, like...
I'm actually really jealous because I really want to own a pair of red downhill pants, but so...
they're like a beautiful dark red kind of color as well. Like they're like, oh, I'm feeling brave because usually I just go all black, and I thought, you know, I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I've got nothing to wear it now. So like, oh man, total fashion faux pas on the mountains.
So right. You can wear red pants, you can wear a white t-shirt or a black t-shirt, sorted.
There you go. You see, I need to start riding with someone else who can be like, listen, mate, about that outfit you wore yesterday. Just pack that shit in, will you? No one's interested in it. Oh, that's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been absolutely fantastic to have you on here and to chat all things fashion, mountain biking, and all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah, so like obviously like I've got you on Instagram and bits and pieces like, but where if people are on the World Wide Web and they want to locate you and find you and follow you and see all these kind of cool new events that's coming up with you, where do they find you?
Obviously Instagram, wolf.girl.mtv or Wolfpack Adventures on YouTube. Put like loads of videos up all the time, so there's always something to either enjoy or laugh at. We don't mind either way.
It's entertainment.
Yeah, so that, or obviously there's Alex Rides MTB. He posts a lot on his Instagram of me and Kai as well. So
Yeah, there's some really nice, like really nice content on there as well. So yeah, you see, he had a blog as well. Is that right?
he used to have one, but to be honest, I wrote one thing on it and then
I've been there. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be the next writer.
No, you can write. You might as well just write a long Instagram caption if you want to get a point across. Like, and to be honest, if nowadays if I want to do something like train your trail dog, we just make a video.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are just going towards like visual sort of like blogs now these days, more vlogs instead. I think people like that. I don't really want to read that much these days. I'm guilty of it myself, but But Amanda, it's been absolutely fantastic, and it's been absolutely great to talk about like all your bikes and things like this, and where you're riding and that. So thank you to everyone to come back and listen to the podcast. If you are interested in coming on and chatting to me about anything bike related, anything like that, then by all means drop me a message. I'll always reply, no matter what. Even if there's a zombie apocalypse, I'll probably still apply. Anyways, so thank you very much again, and I've been the Northern Rider. Thanks for listening in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers, guys.